All right, welcome to Talk Tickers. Today we're going to tear into the third quarter earnings call from Ardelyx, ticker ARDX. And let me tell you, this was a quarter that sent an absolutely unmistakable signal to Wall Street. Let's get right into it.
And wow, that signal was loud and clear. From the close right before the call to the close the very next day, the stock rocketed up nearly 21%. The market's reaction was immediate, it was decisive. So, you got to be asking, what on earth did investors hear that lit such a fire under this stock?
Okay, so it all kicks off with the headline numbers. And this wasn't just some, narrow beat or a mixed bag. No, Ardelyx came out swinging and delivered a decisive outperformance that just left the consensus estimates in the dust.
And it's really the size of the beat here that's the key. I mean, look at this. The street was modeling a loss of 6 cents a share. What did Ardelyx deliver? Break even. That is a huge swing, and it's a massive step towards real profitability. Then you look at the top line, revenue came in over $110 million, absolutely crushing the $100 million consensus by almost 10%. This is the kind of clean, no questions asked beat that gets rewarded every single time.
So where did all that firepower come from? The answer is, well, it's simple. It's one word, IBSRELA. This thing, their treatment for IBS-C, isn't just a growth driver anymore. This quarter, it proved it's an absolute juggernaut.
I mean, just look at this chart. This is the heart of the story right here. $78.2 million in just one quarter for IBSRELA. Folks, that is a jaw-dropping 92% jump year over year. This, right here, is the entire bull thesis in one single bar chart. Their commercial engine isn't just running, it's absolutely redlining.
So what's the secret sauce here? How are they pulling this off? Well, management laid out their playbook, and it really comes down to three key things. First, you've got this incredibly strong patient demand. A community that's just been desperate for better options. Second, they're not just selling to the same doctors. They are successfully expanding that prescriber base. And finally, and this is crucial, it's just pure effective commercial execution. Their teams in the field are getting better and better at what they call pull-through. That's basically turning a doctor's prescription into an actual filled script. It's a textbook picture-perfect launch.
And you can just feel the confidence coming from management. Listen to this. The chief commercial officer, Eric Foster, he didn't just talk about having a great quarter. He got on the call and reiterated their path to over $1 billion in peak revenue. That's the kind of long-term vision the market just loves to see, especially when it's backed up by these kinds of near-term results.
Okay, so IBSRELA clearly stole this show, right? But the story for their other drug, XPHOZAH, and what they're doing with the pipeline, well, that's a story of resilience and some really smart reinvestment of all that cash that IBSRELA is generating.
Yeah, the XPHOZAH story is a little more complicated. You have to look at it from two angles. On one hand, yes, there's this big headwind from a Medicare policy change. That caused the year-over-year numbers to go down. And look, everybody knew that was coming. But here's the resilient part. The company still managed to grow 9% from the last quarter, sequentially. That tells you the team is really navigating a tough environment and still managing to find growth. That shows some serious operational skill.
Now, with the business side humming along, Ardelyx also dropped some news about the future, a new pipeline asset. And to really get why this matters, you got to understand the science just a little bit. Both of their drugs that are on the market are what we call NH3 inhibitors. Basically, they work by blocking this one specific protein in the gut to manage how salt and water get absorbed. It's their unique expertise, it's what they do. And now they're doubling down on that very science. They announced Ardelyx 1053-1, which is their next generation NH3 inhibitor. You see what they're doing here? It's a classic, smart strategic move. You take the profits from your first blockbuster, IBSRELA, and you pour it right back into your core scientific strength to build a long-term pipeline. It's how you create a sustainable company, not just a one-hit wonder.
So this really brings us full circle, doesn't it? You've got a huge beat, you've got resilient execution on the other drug, and you've got a brand new pipeline candidate. And what does that all lead to? A super confident outlook that the market rewarded in a big way. This is what we call a classic beat and raise quarter, and investors love to see it.
And this is so important. They didn't just beat the numbers for Q3. They took their full-year guidance for IBSRELA and they jacked it up. They're now expecting between $270 and $275 million for the full year. What does that tell you? It tells you that the momentum we saw this quarter isn't a one-time thing. Management is confident it's going to continue.
And this timeline right here really shows you just how fast investors jumped on this news. Look, the stock closed at just over $5. The earnings hit the wire, and in after-hours trading, boom, it's already up to $5.77.
By the time the next day's trading session closed, it had locked in those gains and then some, closing at 606. I mean, talk about a decisive and immediate reaction.
Okay, so that's the recap of what happened. Now for our take. What does all of this actually mean for the next quarter and maybe even beyond?
All right, let's just cut to the chase here. After a quarter like this, the only question that matters for an investor is, so what's the trade now?
For us, the thesis is pretty straightforward. First, all that cash flowing from IBSRELA, it's like a powerful engine that just de-risks the entire company's path to profitability. Second, it's clear the market is focused on the explosive growth in their GI business, and they're willing to look right past those known headaches in nephrology. And finally, this new pipeline asset, it gives you some really valuable long-term optionality on the company's core science. It creates another way to win down the road.
So what's our call for Q4? On the revenue line, we see this momentum continuing. We're looking for another beat, probably pushing up towards $115 million. As for EPS, we think they can absolutely print another positive or at least break-even quarter. And the price action that follows? Well, we see a path for the stock to consolidate these big gains and then just continue to grind higher as we head into the end of the year and the rest of the street is forced to update their models.
So putting it all together, our rating on Ardelyx is outperform. The company has shown it can execute commercially at an exceptional level, they're managing their challenges really well, and now they're making smart reinvestments for the future. The momentum here is absolutely real, and it feels like this story is really just getting started.
And that's our breakdown of Ardelyx's fantastic third quarter. Now, just a quick but important disclaimer.
Just a reminder, this analysis is for informational purposes only. This is not financial advice.